I love what I do. I love my product. I know I have a quality product. I love bringing, this sea moss to people. I love bringing them the beverages because sometimes they're a little afraid to go with the gel, right? Well, sea moss has 92 out of the 102 nutrients that our bodies need to function. We need all of that through all of what we eat, what we drink, that's how we get it. Well, if sea moss has 92, I'm going to say that again, 92 of those nutrients. I mean, and I really emphasize that 92. Well, they say, the guys have to tell me, I don't know.
Welcome back to Sayersworldtv. Molten Sayers alongside CP Borg. Today we have the privilege of talking to Yolande Horne-Payne, Lady Moss Boss. Please subscribe, like, and share if you like our contents.
Lady Moss Boss. She has left her corporate job and finds success in another business. Good night and welcome to Vincy Internet Radio.
Hi, good night, everyone. How are y'all? Happy New Year.
I want to say welcome to Mr. Molten Sayers as well. He's your host for tonight.
Thanks, Sip. I just want to say welcome to all our regular listeners, our Facebook audience, and wherever you are in the rest of the world, just say welcome to Vincy Internet Radio. And I want to give a special welcome to the Moss Boss, Lady Moss Boss. Welcome to Vincy Internet Radio.
Hello. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Much appreciated.
Yeah, it's a pleasure for us to have the Moss Boss lady on Vincy Internet Radio. So we're gonna get into all the HCDP of I think it's sea moss and all that stuff, and it's benefit.
All things sea moss, yes.
Yeah, but before we do that, the Moss Boss lady, I just want you to take us back to your humble beginning, like before you were the Moss Boss.
Well, I hail from, I'll say, Level Garden, Kingstown, St. Vincent. That's where I grew up most of my childhood in St. Vincent. And then we moved to Kingstown Park. So we were like a little above Kingstown Park Guest House. I guess it's called something else now. But in my day, it was called Kingstown Park Guest House. You know what I'm talking about. It's right, that guest house right on the hill. And we were probably maybe about a mile up from there. So yeah, Level Garden and Kingstown Park.
Mm-hmm. So before you were the Moss Boss lady, I like to say Moss Boss lady rather than Lady Moss Boss. But
all right.
But tell us like growing up how it was, and then we'll go up to where.
Sure.
What motivates you to do these things?
Well, I grew up. I went to in St. Vincent. I went to Petersville School. I'm an alumni of Petersville. Back in the day, many moons ago. I know I look 25, but that's been many moons ago. And then I went to SJC Kingstown. An alumni of SJC Kingstown. When did I graduate? In 1980. No. Let's back that up. In 1980, 81 or 82. I can't remember.
Let's say 80
something. You know what it is? I had two. I'm one of those people that had two high school graduations. I graduated in St. Vincent and I graduated in the US as well. So my days always, trip me up. But in the 80s, like I said, I'm still a good 25. So
well, if you got the age correct, you'll just kind of give away your age, So
yeah.
And the Simas, you're looking so young that you don't want to do that yet,
There you go.
Yeah. So you left St. Vincent and you migrated to the US.
I migrated to the US. I migrated to Brooklyn, Crown Heights, Brooklyn. Grew up right off of Flatbush and went to high school in Brooklyn. And fortunately for me, it was only 1 year because, it's hard to get your transcripts. As soon as I graduated, I was shipped out to the US from St. Vincent. And so it was hard to get all of those paperwork together. So, you know, they had to put me back in high school, and you know, did it for a year, got out, and, you know, went to LIU, Long Island University. And then I started a career in my corporate career actually started when I was 18 years old, right out of high school here in the US. I got a job, you know, back in the day when someone knew someone and someone gave you a connect. And so I got a job back when it was Manufacturers Hanover Trust in banking. And that started my whole corporate career. I did banking for about 12 years. And then I moved to Chicago, did a little bit of banking there for about 4 years, moved back to New York, a little bit more, about 2 years. And then I started a family. So I started having children and I kind of switched careers. I worked in retail. So I always had sales and retail, you know, as a side hustle kind of. So I worked in retail for another about 7 years. Got tired of that because it took away from family, working on weekends, and it just took away from the kids growing up. And so I changed that and worked in more administrative roles. Did an office management stint for a online benefit company out of Long Island. And then 18 years ago, I moved to Georgia and worked in corporate here at Georgia Pacific in the paper division. So we made paper towels, you know, toilet paper, napkins, and I worked as a project manager coordinator for the general manager of our division. So yeah, that's my corporate background. Yeah.
Long, hard to follow.
37 years.
Wow. You always have that customer service, you know,
Yeah.
giving back and helping out people and that kind of stuff, and you know,
Yes.
dealing with people. Let me ask you, how much did you know of CMOS before you migrated to the USA?
Oh, I knew quite a bit. You know, my grandmother used to make the traditional CMOS punch. You know, and sometimes, you know, she would switch it up and she would make that stout punch, you know, the Guinness and the milk and whatever. But, you know, the way how we learned how to have that punch back home, it was, you know, with condensed milk and, you know, all of the good stuff, but the stuff that's bad for you, you know. And
Right.
so I kind of, you know, redid that a little. You know, I upgraded that. But yeah, my grandmother, you know, she knew about CMOS, and I knew about CMOS, you know, way back then. And I had a lot of friends from the Grenadines, so you know, it's stuff that I knew. It's pretty much part of my life, you know.
Okay, you mentioned something that's important. You said we always do the condensed milk and the evaporated milk as well, because we wanted to feel rich and stuff like that. And I don't want it to feel like it's too soon I'm asking you this, but because we're in that vein of the conversation, without giving it away, the recipe, of course, what would be the difference in your CMOS as opposed to the one that, let's say, we're making it, the homemade one that we will make?
Well, so I don't use sugar. I don't use any sweeteners. Because everything I do with my CMOS, I'm very health conscious. So, you know, we as a people, you know, we have all of these different underlying issues. And I'm very, very conscious of making sure that we try to eliminate sugars because, you know, if I'm telling people, hey, CMOS is going to help remove mucus, and I know we're going to get into that later, but if I'm telling them that and then I'm giving them something packed with sugar, it defeats the whole purpose, right? So my CMOS punch, the milk creamy base punch is done with almond milk or oat milk. It also has, of course, you know, packed with CMOS. You know, and this recipe is everywhere. I mean, I'm gonna keep my secret ingredients, but you know, I sweeten with dates. You know, date is like you know, a very, very good sweetener. So I make a date paste, and everything I do from scratch. I learned how to cook from my grandma. She, you know, she didn't cook from a recipe. She did a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and she tasted and she knew when it was done. And, you know, and just over a period of time, I kind of developed that and learned how to blend flavors and do things like that. So so yeah, I sweeten with dates, and you know, people tend to like it. It's not one of the top sellers, you know, because my business is it's not strictly Vincy and it's not strictly Caribbean. I have customers, health is health, right?
Sure,
So, everybody needs to be healthy. So I have customers that, from all walks of life. And so that sea moss punch really sells well with my Caribbean people, not so much, my other demographics. Yeah.
Right. I recently found out, and it's true what you said. I can attest to that. Dates is a very good sweetener. I found out on my own. About 3 weeks ago, I got some oatmeal, and I didn't want to use the sugar. I wanted to avoid the sugar, and I was actually at a hotel where you get breakfast. And I wanted it to be sweet, but not to use the sugar.
Right.
So I used the dates. They had some dates that they were chopped up pretty much. So I put them inside, and then I go like, wow, this thing tastes really sweet. And it was, I was very, very pleased with it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a very, very good sweetener.
I never knew that. No one ever told me that, but I found out the good way anyways.
Mistake, and that's good, right? Yeah. So you're gonna eliminate some of the sugars now. So that's a good thing.
Well, yes, I've been trying to do that for the past 2 months. And I think it's another show that we have to have, like you said, our people really don't really look so much into that until something is seriously
happen. Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm glad that, especially someone out of St. Vincent can be so conscious and bring in something like that to the market. I mean, it's too bad I'm in Canada, I can't get, but I'm sure when I come to
my website, my website is not limited. You can order from my website, in Canada as well. Yeah, I take orders from Canada. I know that there's an exchange, the exchange rate is a little, but people in Canada can order from my website.
Yeah, right. And health is health. So
exactly.
Yeah, we'll get into your website and all that later on, as we go further into it. So, what really propelled you, or what motivated you to get into sea moss? Because you could have gone to different drinks as well. And so I'm pretty sure it's not just a drinks thing that you wanted. It must be something about the sea moss that got you into it.
Absolutely. So before I left corporate America, and as a matter of fact, I didn't voluntarily leave corporate America. Corporate America said they no longer needed my services, and they really did me, a good service. They allowed me to jump with both feet, because I always had one foot out and one foot in, if you know what I mean. Always had a side hustle. So, I started off doing meal prep, and that's still part of my platform. It's just under construction right now. And I literally showed busy moms how to make meals and healthy meals, health conscious meals in less than 30 minutes in and out of the kitchen. And, but that entailed having people, on a one-on-one basis. They either came to my house and we, set up the kitchen and we showed them how to make these meals, or I went to their homes to do that. The pandemic happened, and of course we couldn't gather anymore. And so I had always been making sea moss, and just on a, just for myself. And then my American friends and some of my Caribbean friends knew that I did and would say, make me a bottle, and one told one. And so we had probably about every 2 weeks, maybe 20 bottles of sea moss coming out of my kitchen. And it was just, just making it for them, and, a couple of bucks here and there. Then I got laid off, and, one girlfriend in particular, and I can name her, I don't know if she's on, here listening, but Tanika Pettis, she kept saying, Yolande, you can do this. Why don't you turn this? She says, read all of this stuff that's out there on the internet about sea moss. It's taken over. People are asking for sea moss. And then, we're just entered into COVID. And then I started reading up and understanding, I just knew that sea moss, that back home, they said sea moss was good for the men, it's an aphrodisiac, and, and then, gives you, and so that's all I knew about, about what it would do for you. Then I did some research. I'm always reading. Whatever I do, I study my craft. And so I took a deep dive into what this sea moss was all about, and realized, I got my hands on something here. And then I honestly saw a lot of people, pushing sea moss, but they really weren't pushing the real sea moss. They were pushing the fake sea moss. And that's a topic for another day, the fake and the real sea moss, right? And I was really upset. And even my Caribbean people were doing that, and they still continue to do it. I see sea moss in Caribbean markets that's not real sea moss. I import my sea moss from the motherland, from my motherland, SVG, And so I just decided to jump both feet, and I started in 2020, March of 2020. So we're up on, heading into our 3-year anniversary. And the best thing, it developed feet, legs, wings, and it's just growing. It's growing at such a rapid pace. I mean, this January, I mean, so many things I could, and I'll tell you about those later. So many things have happened in this month of January. It's just 2023 is unbelievable. So, the sky is the limit for Lady Moss Boss and all things sea moss, to be quite honest with you.
So, how is that compared to Irish moss for the people, for our listeners or viewers who don't understand the difference? They may know Irish moss and sea moss.
Right. So it actually is the same thing, to be quite honest with you. It's just, so Jamaicans, Jamaica being, one of the largest islands in the Caribbean, of course, this massive amount of people living everywhere, even in St. Vincent, Jamaicans call it Irish moss. Well, there's a slight difference. Okay, Irish moss really is the moss that's grown in cold waters, and it was called Irish moss from Ireland, and of course, we had, the colonial folks came down and, changed things around for us, and they brought that with them. And so hence, they call it Irish moss, but when it's grown in the warm waters, it's sea moss. It's the same thing. It's interchangeable. Really, it is.
But is it more effective from the salt water when we say sea moss, or from the fresh water?
I think the northern parts of the sea moss that's grown in cold waters has a little bit more potency than the sea moss that's grown in the Caribbean, in the warm waters.
Okay, because I would think it would be the opposite, but
No. I mean, if you do that research, you'll see the sea moss that's grown in the Chondrus crispum is the scientific name of the one that's grown in the cold waters, and that has a little bit more potency. It's a darker purple, almost like a muddy brown purple, and the tentacles of that is a little bit different. It's not as noodle-like as the cottony aroma that's grown in the Caribbean.
I don't have to do the research. You're the boss. I have to take your word for it.
Like I say, I study my craft. I study my craft. I mean, I don't profess to know everything, but trust me, you ask me a question, I don't have an answer for you, I will find an answer for you, because I do study my craft.
Do you have a bottle with you there right now?
Okay, it's not bottled in my branding, but so you can see, this is my purple. This is what I use at home. So handy. This is the purple sea moss. This one.
How does it become purple?
It grows purple. Sea moss starts off purple when it's growing. The ones especially that I get from Beckway and Canawan, it starts off purple. Somewhere along the line, through the ecosystem of the ocean, and just what God created for us, the sun. So sometimes a green may be spawned off of the purple, and then they take that green piece and start to multiply it, and I can't tell you all the scientifics behind how it grows, but that's a trip. Hopefully, I'm praying that I can get to St. Vincent this year. That's a trip that I'm going to take, because I really want to bring that to my customers so they can see that this is what I go through. These are what the sea moss farmers do to bring you this authentic sea moss that I bring, in all of my products. And then the purple. So the way you get gold, it's bleached out in the sun. So the purple and the green is dried in the heat, but under shade, not direct sun. The gold, however, is dried under direct sun. And so it kind of just bleaches out. I mean, sometimes if you buy the gold sea moss, you'll see on the ends of it, it'll have like little pink shades and, little purple shades, because, I tell people sometimes, I have people who buy sea moss from me wholesale, and sometimes they're not as pleased because they're saying, well, the last batch looked that purple and this batch doesn't look that, it's not a cookie cutter, it's nature, so sometimes it's going to be darker. The waters are a little bit cooler in the winter months, so the sea moss is going to be a little bit more purple. In the summer months, when you're growing sea moss, when the sea moss farmers are growing the sea moss, it's going to be a little bit lighter because the sun penetrates through the water, and it's going to, again, like I said, right, in order to keep that purple, authentic purple, you have to dry it under shade, or else that sun will bleach it out. So yeah, there's a lot to this. It's a whole science to this whole sea moss, and the sea moss movement.
Yeah, before CP comes in. So the one there that is purple, is that ready to be manufactured?
This is ready to be sold. I mean, if I were to sell this is what's ready. This is what I use in my household. Because I gotta have my sea moss. I'm a product of my, I'm a product of my own product, and so this is ready. If it was bottled, it would have been obviously in my bottle, and with my label and everything on it. It is ready to consume 2 to 4 tablespoons on a daily basis, or you can add it to anything. So again, I know you're going to ask me about this, but I add it to drinks. I have drinks on my line, not only the sea moss gel and not only the dried sea moss. I do have drinks on the line that I infuse sea moss with.
What drinks can you use with that though? Because I know sea moss.
Everything. Okay, so you can put sea moss in teas, coffee. I make a pineapple ginger. Sea moss is in there. I make a lemonade, which is a lavender citrus lemonade. Sea moss is in there. I make a sorrel. Most people call it hibiscus here in the US. Everybody else from the Caribbean know it as sorrel. I make a sorrel mocktail, and sea moss is in there. I also make, for the holidays, a sea moss holiday punch, and I'm just going to leave it at that, saying holiday punch. You know what I mean. And so I do add sea moss, and the 2 flavors of the holiday punch is sea moss passion fruit and tropical. And tropical has all of the tropical flavors with the papaya, the guavas, all of that tropical punch, with the sea moss punch. So yeah, sea moss is in everything. And then you can put sea moss, not only that, you can put it in your soups, stews, chili. I mean, you don't cook with it. I don't, teach my customers to cook with it. No, once your food is done, you add it to the food, you eat it right away. It will still maintain the integrity, of it. Now, there's some people who prepare sea moss and they boil sea moss. Now, that's how I know it back home. A lot of people back home boil it, but you're taking away all of those nutrients. When you add heat to anything like that have, packed with nutrients, you're burning it away. It's the same like if you put vegetables, right? Beans or whatever, string beans. If you boil that out, if you don't blanch those vegetables, you're not getting the majority of the benefits, the nutrients from it, because you're boiling all of that out. It all comes out in the water.
Wow.
Yeah. So you have to, what I do, I wash it, I let it sit overnight, 24 hours, and it just, expands. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I just blend it with my alkaline water or my high quality spring water. Okay. It's not bottled in my branding, but so you can see, this is my purple. This is what I use at home. So handy. This is the purple sea moss. How does
it become purple?
It grows purple. Sea moss starts off purple when it's growing. The ones especially that I get from Beckway and Canawan, it starts off purple. Somewhere along the line, through the ecosystem of the ocean and just what God created for us, the sun. So sometimes a green may be spawned off of the purple, and then they take that green piece and start to multiply it, and I can't tell you all the scientifics behind, how it grows, but that's a trip. Hopefully I'm praying that I can get to St. Vincent this year. That's a trip that I'm going to take because I really want to bring that to my customers so they can see, that this is what I go through. These are what the sea moss farmers do to bring you this authentic sea moss that I bring, in all of my products. And then the purple. So the way you get gold, it's bleached out in the sun. So the purple and the green is dried in the heat, but under shade, not direct sun. The gold, however, is dried under direct sun. And so it kind of just bleaches out. I mean, sometimes if you buy the gold sea moss, you'll see on the ends of it, it'll have like little pink shades and, little purple shades, because, I tell people sometimes, I have people who buy sea moss from me wholesale. And sometimes they're not as pleased because they're saying, well, the last batch looked that purple and this batch doesn't look that, it's not a cookie cutter, it's nature, so sometimes it's going to be darker. The waters are a little bit cooler in the winter months, so the sea moss is going to be a little bit more purple. In the summer months, when you're growing sea moss, when the sea moss farmers are growing the sea moss, it's going to be a little bit lighter because the sun penetrates through the water. And it's going to, again, like I said, right, in order to keep that purple, authentic purple, you have to dry it under shade, or else that sun will bleach it out. So yeah, there's a lot to this. It's a whole science to this whole sea moss, and the sea moss movement.
Yeah, before CP comes in. So the one there that is purple, is that ready to be manufactured?
This is ready to be sold. I mean, if I were to sell this is what's ready. This is what I use in my household because, I gotta have my sea moss. I'm a product of my, I'm a product of my own product, and so this is ready. If it was bottled, it would have been obviously in my bottle and, with my label and everything on it. It is ready to consume 2 to 4 tablespoons on a daily basis, or you can add it to anything. So again, I know you're going to ask me about this, but I add it to drinks. I have drinks on my line, not only the sea moss gel and not only the dried sea moss. I do have drinks on the line that I infuse sea moss with.
What drinks can you use with that though? Because I know sea
everything. Okay, so you can put sea moss in teas, coffee. I make a pineapple ginger. Sea moss is in there. I make a lemonade, which is a lavender citrus lemonade. Sea moss is in there. I make a sorrel. Most people call it hibiscus here in the US. Everybody else from the Caribbean know it as sorrel. I make a sorrel mocktail, and sea moss is in there. I also make for the holidays a sea moss holiday punch, and I'm just going to leave it at that, saying holiday punch. You know what I mean. And so I do add sea moss, and the 2 flavors of the holiday punch is sea moss passion fruit and tropical. And tropical has all of the tropical flavors with the papaya, the guavas, all of that tropical punch. With the sea moss punch. So yeah, sea moss is in everything. And then you can put sea moss, not only that, you can put it in your soups, stews, chili. I mean, you don't cook with it. I don't, teach my customers to cook with it. No, once your food is done, you add it to the food, you eat it right away. It will still maintain the integrity, of it. Now, there's some people who prepare sea moss and they boil sea moss. Now, that's how I know it back home. A lot of people back home boil it. But, you're taking away all of those nutrients. When you add heat to anything like that have, packed with nutrients, you're burning it away. It's the same like if you put vegetables, right? Beans or whatever, string beans. If you boil that out, if you don't blanch those vegetables, you're not getting the majority of the benefits, the nutrients from it, because you're boiling all of that out. It all comes out in the water.
Wow.
Yeah. So you have to, what I do, I wash it, I let it sit overnight, 24 hours, and it just, expands. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I just blend it with my alkaline water or my high quality spring water.
Wow, I can't wait to get my hands on that. And I feel like I'm in a classroom right now. Because
well, that's how I, as a sea moss retailer, wholesaler, I just don't want to sell your product. I want to give you the education behind it. And that's why I take my time and I do my deep dive. I do my research, and researching reputable, sources. On my website, I like to cite this magazine called Healthline. They've done some evidence-based research on sea moss and seaweed and, just things of that nature, because the FDA here in the US, they haven't done the research on it. So, everybody, kind of spank you on the hand and they say, oh, no, that's not good, or you can't say certain things. Like I can't say it helps you do, so I have to say it may help you, I have to use my words, wisely, because, of just what the nature of what it is. But homeopathic is homeopathic. I mean, we need to learn how to, educate ourselves and learn how to take care of ourselves, and sea moss has 92 of the 102 nutrients our bodies need to function. We can't eat enough food to get all of those nutrients, right? And you can get it in this Power Pack Punch right here. If you're doing 2 to 4 tablespoons on a daily basis, you'll be, putting that in your body. So, yeah.
Very much, boss. I'm gonna pass you the recipe, and when I come back, you're gonna really tell us how to really use that sea moss. And
okay, sure.
You're listening to the Fresh Clean Song. You're listening to Vincy Internet Radio, having an interesting interview with Yolande Horne-Payne, the lady boss. Yolande, one thing I'm gonna ask, because we always go into business and sometimes we forget about certain areas of the business. I really like to start in this area. Now, have you trademarked your name?
Absolutely.
So that's very important. A lot of people go into business and don't realize the benefit that can derive from trademarking your name and make sure nobody come up with it and say, well, this is mine. Which
exactly.
Can really push your business back and push things aside.
Absolutely. I have my trademark lawyer is Dana Thomas Esquire. She's right out of Atlanta. She is the daughter of Kamito Thomas. I don't know if you guys, know him. I mean, friend of mine, friend of the family. I try to keep things in the family, So if that's just how I do business. If I know someone, that I have a need, and they especially if they're from the Caribbean or they're from my country in particular, I try to keep it with them. And my trademark lawyer, she is the number one trademark lawyer. I would go to say she's the number one trademark lawyer in the country. She offers a money back guarantee. So if she offers a money back guarantee, that tells you that you're gonna get your stuff trademarked. Okay. And so Lady Moss Boss is trademarked. I'm coming up with some other names for some other things that I can't tell you all about it yet. You'll have me back and I'll tell you about it. And so we're going to do some more trademarking because we have some other names, some other things that we're launching within the next 2 quarters.
That basically was going to be my next question, because we always start a business and I was going to ask about your branch off to other areas. You don't have to go into details, but how many areas you looking to branch off to?
Well, so currently, I'm in retail, right? I have wholesale, and in retail, I have 3 gels and 3 drinks, and then 2 specialty drinks that comes out during the holidays. For the summer, we're going to have a limited edition drink, a new drink coming. I can tell you the flavor. It's going to be a blueberry lemonade, and then for Christmas, it's going to be another flavor that I can't tell you yet, on that one. And then we're working for a holiday, working on putting a holiday box together, a really nice box that you can, give as gifts and things like that. Now, starting January 31st, this is the first big thing that's happening for Lady Moss Boss. We are going to launch our subscription boxes. We have a lot of people who are on CMOS and they either track me down or they're sometimes too far from where I'm selling it locally. I mean, I have local markets that have my product and people go there and pick it up. And so we decided to start a subscription box. So people who come to me every 5 weeks, every 3 weeks or whatever, they can get on that rotation. I'll see that those orders come in on my website. I'll fill those orders immediately. So they don't have to track me down. They don't have to find me at festivals. They don't have to, head over to wherever I'm at. People literally follow me on Facebook so they can know where I'm at to come pick their products up. And so I'm very happy to announce that the subscription, the monthly subscription for our gels and dry and drinks, gonna start in February, but we're gonna take pre-orders effective January 31st. Very excited about that.
Do you go to like trade shows to display your products?
Say that again?
Do you go to trade shows to display your products?
I do. I haven't done major trade shows. I'm getting there. This year, as a matter of fact, my first big trade show, it's going to be hosted by our local small business administration in one of our counties at the 24th, I think it is. I'm going to be there. It's a big 17th annual women's conference from the SBA. I will be there. I'm working on some other trade shows. I'm actually working on getting out of the Atlanta, Georgia area. We are looking at doing maybe 2 festivals this year in New Orleans.
How much work do you think goes into this? Because a lot of people believe when you have a business that success come overnight. So take me a little bit into what drive you to success, because I know success is sometimes take a long road.
Success really is, success is relative, right? I take success in bite-sized pieces. So, I take every win for me is a success, because it's a stepping stone to get to the big picture. And so, it is not easy. Sometimes people see me post things on social media and, they see the smile and they see the laughter and they see all of the fun stuff, or they may see a reel from all of my, my festivals that I've been out and, interacting with people. And they're like, oh, that's glamorous. That's what it is. But what they don't understand, the nights when I'm exhausted, the nights when my ankles are swollen, the nights when my computer is down and, then I need to get orders out and my printer got jammed and, I had meetings. I'm trying because, I'm always trying to work with more people to sell to wholesale. So I'm the salesperson. So I'm everybody. I call myself, I'm the, the entrepreneur, but I'm the solopreneur because I'm everyone. This year we're working on, kind of changing that because I can't grow, I can't scale if I'm doing everything. So we have a marketing team that is amazing. MJ and her marketing team, they have gotten on board back in September of last year. And we've been talking and having meetings and, just kind of ramping up to where we're going to be. We're going to be rebranding. We're going to do, there's just so many things that's happening. I need to hire an assistant. I need an administrative assistant because it's a lot. I need to hire an accountant. So there's a lot of people, if you're listening to me out there and you're hearing my needs, reach out to me, ladymossboss.com, and let me know what services you have that I can use and how we can collaborate, how we can make this happen, because Lady Moss Boss is here to stay. We have a product, when people put their, they just have to taste. When they taste my product, they know that it's good stuff, and like I said, it's here to stay. We're looking at, and I can give you a sneak peek of this, we're looking at getting into some stores. Don't know exactly which ones yet. I'm talking about big box stores. And so we're working on that. And, when that happens, I would let you know. For January, we have a contract with 7 gyms here in the Atlanta, Northeast, Northwest area, Crunch Fitness gyms. We're with them for the next 6 months, and we'll probably renew, and we'll just see how things go. I can go to all 9 gyms twice a month. I'm there with them. We have a wellness spa, high-end wellness spa in the East Point area of Atlanta. Just got a call. We've been working with her back I would say last summer, midsummer, and finally got a call from her yesterday saying, hey, I think we're ready to take product. So we have to have a meeting and we got to do a launch in for her and all of that. So things are happening. Things are really happening. First quarter right off the bat is happening. My February is packed. I'm telling you, I'm at 4 gyms. I have my regular market that I do on Sunday. I do a farmer's market and they carry my products as well. Then I have the SBA conference, and maybe about 4 other smaller conferences for the month of February. So yeah, I'm hitting the ground running 2023.
One way I want to take you back a little bit, because some people don't realize the sacrifice and the sleepless nights. So tell me a little bit about your sleepless nights, because once people see you successful, they believe that you don't want to see them anymore. You know, I know the kind of things, but take us back to some of your sleepless nights. Let people understand how sleepless nights is always in business.
So I'll tell you. So let me take you back to, let's say if I do a festival today, and the festival is from 10 to 5, I get home, all right, and if I'm sold out, it's a great thing. And 9 times out of 10, I'm sold out. So I have no products left. It means I have to start from scratch. So I may get home about 6, perhaps nothing to eat, maybe grab a bite or probably eating something that I shouldn't be eating. And then I start the process all over again. Like, you got to make gels. I got to make sure I have my bottles on hand. So I always have to be up on my inventory with everything, my labels, my bottles, I have to be organized. And then I start that process about 6 o'clock. I don't go to bed until about maybe 1 o'clock, in the morning. And then I have to be up. And sometimes I go to bed at 1 o'clock, sleep fast. I'm back up again at 5. And I'm making product until about 7:38 to then go to market on Sunday, So, sometimes I run on no sleep or 4, 5, 6. I'm lucky if I get 6 hours worth of sleep. Now that the season is starting again, during the summer, oh, forget about it. There's no sleep. You just go. It is what it is. I do that. I love what I do. I love my product. I know I have a quality product. I love bringing, this CMOS to people. I love bringing them the beverages, because sometimes they're a little afraid to go with the gel, right? They're a little afraid of this, but they're not as intimidated by the beverages, the pineapple ginger, the sorrel. They're not intimidated by that. So I get them started there, and then I gradually take them to the gel. And they know when they start to see the improvements in their own health, in their own bodies, they come back and they continuously, they just keep coming back. I was out all day today, and I have Instagram DMs, I have Facebook, orders. Orders coming from everywhere. They're coming from my website. They come in, if they have my numbers personally, they come in via text, or it comes in through Instagram, and one tell one, a friend tell a friend, and I usually like to use that as a tagline, tell a friend to tell a friend. And that's really how my business has been growing. Literally one person tells another, they share their experience, with how they feel, how things have been going for them. And, they come back, and so that's why like I said, I love what I do. It's just a freedom to do what I'm doing. I don't have to ask the boss. I tap myself on the shoulder and say, hey, are you going to do that today? Or, are you going to go here today? I don't have to ask permission, to do that. Now, as much as I work hard, I play hard too. So there are times when I need to shut it down, and I just need to, take care of self, because there's no good doing all of this and taking care of everyone if I'm not taking care of myself. So the days when I'm telling you I'm not sleeping, there are times when I just have to shut things down and, get that sleep. If I need to be off for a week, I need to be off for a week. But because of the growth of the business, I know that I can't do that very often. Because then my customers need me. They need the product, and we got to give it to them. So, yeah.
All right. In case you just joined us, we're having a conversation with Yolande Horne-Payne, and she is Lady Moss Boss. My name is Moulton Sayers alongside CP Board. Lady Moss Boss. If someone was to come like to you, they don't know anything about sea moss or the moss. Let me say the moss. What would be your line to convince them that the sea moss is good or the moss is good?
So my famous line, and I think everybody uses the same line, you know, but I do it with conviction. Okay. A lot of us, we take vitamins, we take supplements, right? And for the most part, I think people understand that as you get older, you know, your body just can't function, and it doesn't function the way it used to function. We don't absorb the foods, you know, the way we should. And even the foods that we're buying, they're not being produced the way that they used to be produced. They're being mass produced. So their corners are being cut. The ground is not being rotated properly. I mean, if you don't have proper soil, you can't have proper food, right? That soil has to be high in nutrition to be able to produce the food with the right nutrition. Well, sea moss has 92 out of the 102 nutrients that our bodies need to function. We need all of that through all of what we eat, what we drink, you know, that's how we get it. Well, if sea moss has 92, I'm going to say that again, 92 of those nutrients. 92. I mean, and I really emphasize that 92, you know, when I say that, they're like, oh, you know, and I may say it once and it kind of, they look glazed over, and I say it again. And I say, listen, it has 92 of 102 nutrients our bodies need to function. Well, listen, I mean, if that doesn't sell them, I don't know what else will. Nothing else I say will convince them, you know, but really that's how I talk to people. I really share that with them. And then I share, you know, some of the things that we don't even know, you know, like all the letters of the alphabet is in there. It's the K's and all of these little things that we don't know that our body needs. I mean, you know, we know we need the vitamin D and the B and the C, and you know, those are the famous ones that we know, right? Maybe potassium, maybe zinc, but there's so many other things that, you know, that's in there, like the K's and the, man, I can't even tell you. I have a list of them. I just not off the top of my head, some of the ones I just rattled off there, but it's a lot. It's a lot of nutrients that our bodies need to function. And when you start taking sea moss, I can assure you, when you start taking sea moss, you will feel the difference. If you have knee problems or back problems, here's how you're going to see the difference. Normally, when you go upstairs, your knees hurt, your back hurt. Well, maybe in about 5-6 weeks, you'll hop up those stairs and you'll go, wait a minute, I didn't hold on. You know, it gradually sneaks up on you, you know, and that's how you know something is happening. I'll give you another example. If you had you know, if you fell asleep early, if you're a person who go to bed at 8 o'clock, you're just totally wiped out, gradually over a period of time, maybe 9:30, 10 o'clock, you're still awake and you'll say, oh, wait a minute, I'm still up, you know, and you don't think about it, but it's that sea moss in your body giving you the nutrients, you know, it's revitalizing your cells. It's giving you those nutrients. The body is functioning the way it's supposed to function. And now sea moss alone doesn't do this. Now, I don't want anybody to think, if you know, sea moss is not a miracle drug, right? You got to exercise. You got to drink your water. You got to be hydrated. You got to get the right rest. You have to eliminate sugars from your diet. Sugars. If you're still eating sugars and you're taking sea moss, you're canceling things out. You got to get rid of the sugars. You add the sea moss then starts working for you. You know, you can't have, because sugars create, you know, and you'll get some of those sugars in fruits and vegetables as well.
Don't say you got to add the sea moss. You got to add Lady Boss moss, because if you add any sea moss, it's not going to work, right? Because
right, you know, you need authentic sea moss. Exactly. You need sea moss from Lady Moss Boss. That's what's going to make it work for you. Yeah. There you go.
Because I could run out the street right now and find myself some sea moss, but you know, it's not going to work.
Not all sea moss is created equal. You know, not all sea moss is authentic.
Mm-hmm. So you're making me anxious now with your website, because I have some sea moss at home. Of course the weed itself. I've seen people put it to soak and they don't and they don't boil it, which you said, you know, the boiling takes away from the nutrients inside. Tell us a little bit about, you know, the website, how we can get, do you have those actual nutritional information like tidbits on the website as well? I know you said you can't say it will do, you just have to say it will assist or something like that, right?
Right. Or it may, you know, it may, you know, yeah, I that's, you know, I am very, very careful what I put on my website. You know, my education to my customers comes on a one-on-one basis. And, you know, and if it means that you have to email me or, you know, you have to call me, you know, call my office during office hours, or, you know, if you have my personal cell. I mean, everybody now have my personal cell because, you know, I'm on a mission to make sure that, you know, that we are making sure that our folks are healthy, you know? And so the website has, you know, information. It has the product content because it just has to. I mean, Wix, you know, they're not playing with me. They want to make sure that that my stuff is labeled properly. And then when I go forward, like, you know, I'm getting ready, Amazon, just keep Amazon in mind. You know, I'm an Amazon retailer. I just don't have products on there yet, because the moment I put it on Amazon, you know, that's a whole nother animal, right? And so I need to ramp up. I need to be ready to get on Amazon because that's a whole nother animal right now. And, you know, that information is there. It is there. Little tidbits. Now, what we're, you know, the information also on my Instagram, a lot more information, a lot more educational information is on Instagram. Instagram now, the team that I'm working with is now feed into Facebook. So my Facebook page also have some of that information. I mean, clearly you'll see, you know, tidbits on what to do, the uses, you know, some of the things that it helps with. You know, there's a lot that you can see, you know, from my Instagram and from my Facebook.
How much, I know you want us to go to this site, but just for our listeners to give them a little tease to go to the website. What are you retailing it for on the website?
On the website, on the gels. So we have 3 gels. The full spectrum, which is all 3 colors of the sea moss, which is the most, you know, potent, you know, if you will. That's not on there yet, but it's coming soon. So we have the gold gel, the purple gel, and the full spectrum, that's coming. Then we also have it the same in the dry, the gold gel, the purple gel, and the dry. And the full spectrum. That the full spectrum is the one that's coming. We have in the drinks, the pineapple, ginger, and the lavender citrus. The hibiscus, that's coming. And we also have a shot, like a ginger shot, which is called the Morning Glory. That was on the website, but I had to revamp it because I can't that's the one product. I mean, most of the products, because it has ginger base, ginger coagulates, you know, with sea moss. So it makes it a little, you know, just not as palatable. So you have to watch the amount of sea moss that you put into those things. So it has to be a science for me. You know, I have to watch my ratios to make it very palatable for you, the customer. And so the sea moss shot, which is the Morning Glory, I had to pull that down. I mean, people still purchase it. People who know and love it still purchase it because they reach out to me, but I had to pull it down for a minute because I needed to take, you know, the sea moss out of it. I needed to, you know, to revamp that. And then I'm going to reissue it, you know, back on the website. So yeah, I mean, those are the things that are on there. So the gels are retailed for, you know, and I probably just give you the prices on the gel. The gold gel is, I do 32 ounce bottles, and 32 ounces kind of looks like this, you know, this size right here. That's your 32 ounces. And the reason why I don't do anything less than that is because, you know, it's not cost effective for you and I, right? You're going to run, if you are using 2 to 4 tablespoons of sea moss gel on a daily basis, you will be done in 3 weeks. So if I sell you a bottle of 16 ounce bottle, that's more work for me. That's more time consuming for you. That is why we're now transitioning into subscription so that people can have their rotation on a regular basis because we saw the need for that, right? So I do 32 ounces of sea moss gel, nothing infused into sea moss. It's plain sea moss gel. So I don't do flavors with the sea moss gel. And give me a second while I'll tell you the reason why I don't do flavors. The gold in the 32 ounces, that's $50. The purple is $60. The full spectrum, which has all three of the sea moss colors, the purple, the gold, and the green, that is $70. Retail $70 on very comparable prices to what other people are doing out there. And I can't tell you what they're doing. I can't tell you how they make this stuff, what they have in it, where they get their sea moss from. I can't tell you any of that. My authentic sea moss, my price is my price. That's it. And price is not an issue because people know the value of what they have and they've seen results in it. So price is certainly not an issue. So let me circle back to why I don't put fruit in my sea moss. Remember we talked about sugars? The sugar in fruits breaks down too quickly and it makes this spoil in about 2 weeks. This sea moss can last in your refrigerator for 5 weeks. You can push it to 6. Okay, the way I make it, and because of the authenticity of the sea moss that I have, if I add a fruit to this, you're only going to get 2 weeks. So the customers who are just learning sea moss, they're not going to finish this in 2 weeks. Their money's going to go down the drain. So I'm very money conscious as well for my customers. So that's why I don't put that in there. It just breaks down way, way, way too fast, the sugars. And, and I want people to understand the other reason why I don't flavor my sea moss is that you can put sea moss in anything, in your oatmeal, in your tea, in your coffee, in your soup, stew, jam, jelly. It's gelatinous, so it will thicken things. If you put it in your soup, it will thicken the soup. If you put it in your chili, it would thicken the chili, So if I put mangoes in here, you can't put mango in your pea soup. It's not going to work. So that is why I keep it as authentic as I possibly can. We have no added anything. It's key limes to clean it. It's alkaline water and sea moss. That's it.
Wow. So because you answered my question, because that was my follow-up question about the shelf life. So you I can see that you're brilliant in sales as a kid.
Well, thank you.
Yes. How did you come up with how much in terms of, you said 2 teaspoons? How did you come up with that? Like how much?
It's 2 tablespoons, 2 to 4 tablespoons, depending on how your body functions. That is standard out there. So I told you that, that I work with looking at what Healthline magazine, what they do and some of the researches that they've done. And through my deep dive, I found out that is the daily required intake to get, the body doing what it's supposed to do, taking the sea moss. So 2 to 4 tablespoons.
So let me call it the rhetoric of sea moss belongs to men. Does that still exist, or is just an added part of to the?
Well, they say. I mean, the guys have to tell me. I don't know.
Like, I mean,
I don't know. That's what they say. Right? You got to tell me.
Look, if you ask us guys, we use a lot of things and we don't even know if it really works or if it's a mind thing or whatever, Right. Ironically, like before, I didn't even I didn't even think about that. This interview with you, right? It didn't cross my mind that, but I just felt like a sea moss in the store and I couldn't find one. So I ended up getting, I think, one of those nutriment. I think my body just felt a little bit weak and I wanted that as a sea moss. And I was looking
a little boost you were looking for.
This side of Canada, you don't get a lot of Caribbean stuff per se,
right?
Like that, you get 1 or 2 Irish moss, and so hats off to you that you're taking it from the motherland St. Vincent and bringing it on foreign soil. Have you exploit anything in St. Vincent concerning that in terms of sales? Because I know they have a lot of different sea moss,
right? Well, no, I haven't. And, I haven't done anything like that at all, in terms of sales to St. Vincent in terms of my product. So I want to take that trip first. I want to see what's going on. I mean, I noticed a plethora of stuff going on there. They're making sea moss wine, they're doing soaps, they're doing all kinds of stuff in St. Vincent. I mean, they've got tons of talented people back home and offering that to folks there. I honestly don't know if I really want to take away from what the people are doing there. Not like I want to give them my product, but I really don't. I want these, I have a soft spot for my country. Okay. I may not have been very active, when I was younger, back and forth. I mean, you look at St. Vincent as your playland, right? It's your home country. You don't, right. you don't appreciate the value of what, the way you were taught, how you were raised, the values that were instilled in you, from the smaller islands, especially, right? Because our island is one of the islands that I think is so untouched, and just right. the family values and things like that. And I see that a lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs are popping up in St. Vincent. I really don't want to take away from what they're doing. Really, what I want them to do is start farming more sea moss so we can have, and have really good, reputable farmers, farmers that are, that with integrity, right? That are using, the areas that are really pristine, clean waters, no runoff in the sea, really responsible farmers. That's what I want to see them do. Teach the young people there to manufacture more sea moss, and then teach the other side, the people who, don't really want to manufacture, but want to create something out of sea moss and spread that over. I would love to see those people, like I know Beckway just had a festival with sea moss. I would love to see their products even reaching, us here, in the US and Canada, So I really don't want to take mine there. I mean, I have a big playground right here in the US and Canada, I really don't want to take anything away from that someone, could have sold something there, because they depend on that for their livelihood, and like I said, my soft spot for them is that, I want them to be independent. I want them to be entrepreneurs. Now, what I would love to do is go home and teach them how to do some things.
Okay,
that's what I would love to do.
You're taking all my follow-up questions. Because I was just going to say, I realized that you're also a coach. So I was saying maybe later on you can go and educate them on the issues of CMOS. So so
sorry.
No, that's perfectly fine. You're just making my job easier. So it's not like I have to sit here and wonder what to ask you next.
Right.
It's just flowing. I'm flowing into you, flowing into me, and stuff like that. Is there anything that's preventing you from doing it more on a wider scale, like in terms of sales or sales coming along? And are you before you go and answer it, before I ask again, so I might have to ask you two questions in one. And are you even considering, or would you be considering having like a co-packer later on to help out with the production?
Yes, and yes to all. What's holding me back is capital. So I'm working on capital right now. We talked about, when you have your business. So I have a business coach, and that business coach, helps me in things that I don't know. I mean, I've always had a side hustle, but not really a business, if you will, from the ground up, right? And so I've always done multi-level marketing. Well, they've already done all the marketing. All I did was sell a product and make some money, right? And I call it a business, but really, it really wasn't. I mean, it was done for me. The products that I have and that I'm offering, Lady Moss Boss brand, it's from the ground up. I am doing everything. I have to think of everything. And sometimes you don't know what you don't know, and so you need someone to help you. So I do have a business coach, Moneybags 623, Latasha Brooks. She is amazing. I do have business people. I associate myself with business people. I mean, your co-host just said, sometimes you have to kind of pull away from, I'm not really pulling away from people, but I can't be everywhere. I can't be all things to everyone. I need to be with like-minded people. I need to be with people who are doing what I do, or people who, if even they're not a business person, but they have that innate sense to know how to run business properly, or have been around people sharing that information. So those are the people I need to kind of associate myself with, so that I can take my business where I need to go. And through my experiences and what I have done, I'm able to share things with other people as well, you know. And so it's a win-win situation. You know, I like I said, I don't know what I don't know. In terms of co-packing, yes, we have to take this out of being, you know, a mom and pop business. You know, I mean, the folks outside looks at it as a mom and pop business. I see big business. I see that I have a big business. It's not, you know, a little business, you know, it's just going in steps. And maybe let's say we have to take 50 steps to this journey. So maybe I'm at step number 10, you know, and I still got 40 steps to go, right? To give you that analogy. But, you know, all in all, it is a big business. There's a lot to do. There's a lot more to do. There's a lot more for Lady Moss Boss, you know, to accomplish. Goals are already set on a quarterly basis for this year, and we're even sneaking into 2024. I mean, because that's just what, by nature, I'm a planner. You know, I was born this way. You know, and a lot of my responsibilities and roles and responsibilities in corporate America had to do with planning, had to do with projects, had to do with organizing, had to do with guiding, getting somebody where they need to be, you know. And so it's in me. It's how I live. It's how I ran my house. I mean, I have 3 boys, and, you know, when they were younger, that's just how I ran the house. You know, I mean, in order for us to be efficient and everybody need to be where they need to be, I take all of those same principles and all of those same experiences and run my business the same way today. So yeah, we're looking at co-packing. You know, I don't know how soon we're going to do that. We have to refresh the brand first. So we're refreshing the brand. The next step is to get it into big box stores. I don't know which one. I don't know when, where, how, but, you know, we're putting it out there. If anybody in the listening world, you know, knows how to, or have an in how to, hey, reach out to me, ladybossboss.com. I would love to hear, you know, how do I do that? And but yes, we're working in that direction. And then obviously once we go into you know, big box stores, you know, it has to come, you know, I'm going to have to co-pack, you know, I'm going to have to, you know, have somebody make it. But you know, the part to that I'm still holding on to is that intellectual property. So, you know, we got to get my lawyers involved and, you know, make sure that, you know, my stuff is my stuff. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that much I know in terms of business, you know, I need to protect everything, especially my intellectual property.
Yeah, I think for the big box stores, I think you can ask to have a corner where people sample it. And
yes.
Yeah, it depends on how much they buy.
Right.
Yeah. But one of the things I like about it, though, is that you were putting your face, you're at the forefront of the business. And that's very important in terms of people to get their trust, you know, in the product. How do you, or what would you say to, well, let me ask you this first, and I hope you don't go into my follow-up questions before. I'm just kidding.
Just stop me if I am.
No, that's perfectly fine. How do you see it as being a woman in the business? What are the challenges, or are there any challenges in you being a woman as opposed to a man trying to push this moss?
Well, there are always going to be challenges for women. I mean, you know, I don't think women get enough respect in business across the board. You have to kind of demand that respect. You know, I mean, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm doing. And sometimes when you sit across the table from a man, you know, they look at you like, well, how are you so sure? You know, and they think that you're doing this on emotion. I mean, you know, there's no emotion in this. It's business. You know, I mean, the emotion is the passion. Yes. You know, because I love what I do. I love being around people. I'm a people person. So yes, you'll see that emotion, but you know, it's business. You know, I don't take things personal. I'm learning how not to. I'm growing in a lot of ways where I'm not taking it personal, but it is very hard as a woman-owned business. But there are lots of resources out there for us. I mean, and you know, through my coach Latasha Brooks, she's been able to share you know, some different resources. I mean, you can, you know, work with the SBA. You can, you know, get a SBCD coach. You can get there's just so many avenues that you can go as a woman-owned business to lend credibility to your brand. You know, I had taken things a step further. I went and became food safe certified, and that's on a managerial level. So I know what temperatures my products need to be at. I know, if I take something out of the refrigerator, when I need to put it back in the refrigerator. All of this information, because again, like I said, I do deep dive. I do learn. I'm a product. I learn my craft. I have to learn my craft. I want to be the best at what I do. So I have to educate myself, and so you got to learn the craft. You got to learn what it is you need to do to make sure that, that you're providing A1 product and A1 service to the customers that you service.
Mm-hmm. And again, I like the way you're surrounding yourself, and you believe, I know you believe a lot in having coach, and that's people of our kind per se. We don't really gravitate towards that notion of having coach or having the experts.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of tend to think that we know it all. So I have to commend you on that again. The way you're doing things is listen to the expert, and when in doubt, you try to get the best advice or the encouragement to go on to do it. What advice though would you give to young people who want to get into doing their own thing? Because like you said before, a lot of people in St. Vincent, they're doing their own little thing, and that's a hustle, right? But for who want to propel it to a business, what advice would you give to them to come up and follow? Besides coming up and follow Lady Moss Boss.
Well, I'm also branching out into coaching, slowly, so they need a coach, period. You need someone who has, and not necessarily, let's say people who want to do a CMOS business, you don't necessarily need a CMOS business coach. You need a business coach, somebody who understands business, all of the areas of business, how you set up your LLC, business credit, understanding that, even though my face is my business, I am the face of my business, nobody can't sue Yolande Horne-Payne. They can sue Lady Moss Boss. They're not suing me, and people don't know that. A lot of people start a business and they don't understand how they need to separate the two. I am Yolande Horne-Payne, but I'm also Lady Moss Boss. And, the business side of things, that if you feel like you need to come for me, that's who you're going to come for. You're not going to come for Yolande Horne-Payne. You know what I'm saying? So people need to understand that. You need to get a coach. You need to understand, the 10 things that you need to do before you get your business off the ground, whether it's, starting this business, and whether it's here or in the Caribbean, right? It's the same thing. I would advise people to do the same exact thing, find a lawyer, brand your stuff, get capital, get a business bank account. Do not commingle money. Do not take that money and put it, into your business, get a POS system, a sales system, that get a nice accounting system, work on your business credit, get your net 30s, get customers people to give you stuff, and then you pay them on time, without you giving them money, use other people's money to run your business. Learn how to do that, and so, I think those are some of the advices that I would give to people who are just starting. You need you need a coach. You need somebody to kind of hold your hand. Again, like I said, right, I didn't know, and there's still a lot of things that I don't know, and you don't know what you don't know. But when you're talking to a coach and you're talking regularly to a coach, or you're in a group session as a mentee with a coach who's, mentoring, 100 people at a time, in a meeting, and everybody had thrown out different questions from different areas, from different sectors, of business, you get to hear and you get to, oh, I need that. Oh, I didn't know I needed that, or, you throw something out and somebody said, well, it worked for you. Is that general across the board, or is it just for the CMOS business, or is it just for consulting, or is it just for coaching? People start asking you questions like that. And then you get those knowledge, you gain those perspectives, and then decide, okay, well, I need to know this, I need to know that, and then find the expert in those things, like find an accountant, find a tax accountant. I mean, because you need these people to guide you. I need a good tax accountant. I need somebody who knows exactly how to deal with the IRS. There's two things I'm afraid of in this country. I'm not going to jail. I'm not breaking the law. I'm not messing with the police. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I'm not messing with the IRS. So anybody else, fair game. But no. Yeah. So I need to do things the right way. I mean, all fun and games. I really need to do things the right way. And in order to do things the right way, you need to have a mentor. And I will pass that on to people who are just starting. They need to have a mentor to help them, gain that knowledge that they need to be able to run their business very efficiently. And once you have the basics down, because in anything that we do, right, it's the foundation. If you don't have a good foundation on your house, it's going to be lopsided. It's going to be tons of cracks. The wall is going to have cracks everywhere. So everything that you do, you need that foundation. If I didn't have a good foundation, I wouldn't be able to, develop business credit. I won't be able to walk into Sam's and say, hey, I shop here a lot. I need some of your money. Can you give me a card? I won't be able to do that, because I have the foundation, because then they're going to ask you for some things. They're going to ask you if you have an LLC. They're going to ask you if you have an EIN number, if you live in the US, right? Which is like your social security number, if you will. And they're going to ask if you're part of Dun & Bradstreet, if you have a Dun & Bradstreet number, which is the way the credit reporting for businesses. And so if you don't know that, even when you're starting a business bank account, they're going to ask you that too. So you have to know these basics. These are the building blocks to starting your business, and you just got to know it. You just got to know it.
Were you ever, before Sippy comes in, were you ever at a point where you thought you knew a lot, and then you got into those sessions or meetings or coaching, and then you realized, oh.
Every day. Every day, it's a learning process. Yes, it's every day. I mean, you think, I'm like, okay, I think I've arrived, and I'm with a bunch of people and I'm listening to them talking, like, oh, so I keep my mouth closed. I just listen at that point, because I don't know, they always say if you're the person that know everything in the room, you need to get a bigger circle. So I always aspire to be in a room where I don't know a whole lot of stuff, like everybody knows more than me, so I could be a sponge and soak it up.
You listen to the Fresh Queen Song. You listen to Vincy Internet Radio. We're having an interview with the lady, Moss Boss. You touched on something earlier on that I really want to go back to. And that has to do with your went and get certified to deal with cross-contamination and temperatures and those kind of stuff. Take us a little bit into that, because people don't realize when they get into the business that you are in, that these things can happen. So take us a little bit down that road.
So for instance, right, things have to be, I'm using fruits. I'm using limes, lemons. I'm using ginger. I'm using, just all kinds of fruits and vegetables. They need to be chilled at a certain temperature, so your temperatures need to be at, this is standard across the board, because if you're not, bacteria grows very quickly. The surfaces that you're using. So, I had to go and invest in a stainless steel work table, so that I can work on. That's where I work on, for all of my things, right? Because stainless steel don't hold bacteria as a wood would, and even maybe granite, as well, because you still got to wipe that down. But the stainless steel cuts it. Now, if you clean your stainless steel with lemons or lime, that's even, takes the bacteria out, even better. When I go out to festivals, I need to make sure that I have the right cooler. The cooler has the right temperature, so that my stuff, if it's too hot outside, say for instance, I'm making that milk-based sea moss punch, right? That has to be chilled. It's milk. Even though it's nut milk, it's tree nut milk, it's still milk, and so it has to be stored at a different temperature. You have ginger. Ginger is, can be explosive. So if it gets too hot, it's going to explode. I had a customer, in all my stuff, it says, please refrigerate, because it has to be in that, in that cool temperature. And, a person left their stuff out on their table, and the whole thing exploded. And they're like, "Oh, you didn't tell me." I said, "I did tell you, but the bottle also says, please refrigerate," because of just that same reason. There's certain things that needs to be at certain temperatures. And even when I'm purchasing products, it has to be at a certain temperature. So I kind of get a feel. I mean, I've been this game. I've been in the kitchen game for a long time. So you kind of know what your temperatures are. It's like, my grandmother would cook and she would just put a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a dash of this, and she knows when it's finished, but there's a certain thing just so that we don't cross-contaminate. If I'm making gold sea moss, it's just gold sea moss. I don't have purple hanging out. I don't have the purple is pushed away at the side. You just can't cross-contaminate, a lot of different things. The different drinks. If I'm making pineapple ginger, it is pineapple ginger. When I'm done with pineapple ginger, everything is washed, everything is disinfected, everything is cleaned. I have been fortunate enough to be working with a smaller blender, and the brand blender has it has a heated disinfectant, cycle. So I'm able to disinfect that cup, and it works really well. Now I'm going to graduate to a bigger one, a more commercial stainless steel one. So then that's going to be a little bit different. I'm not going to have to worry about cross-contamination. But yes, it is key and important, to do that when you're working in the food industry. And I know it's drinks, and I know it's sea moss, and it's not rice and peas and, all of that. Now, those things have a whole other different temperatures that you need to receive it at, and you need to keep it at, and you need to store it at. You can't have it sitting out on the table for too long because, quiet as kept, bacteria is in the air everywhere. Right? It lands there and it starts to grow, and you just can't have it. So you got to know that kind of information. So for me, it was important that I got out there, learn what I need to learn so that I know that, because the moment I send this off to a customer, right, and they get sick, I'm liable. So I have to know that every area that how I'm working, what I'm doing is pristine, so that I'm sending a good product out to a customer. The only thing, the challenge that I may have, it's, UPS may throw my box and it may break, but when that product leave, where I'm preparing it, it is A1, clean and, ready for that customer to use.
With that certification, do you have to recertify, like say every 2 years, 3 years?
Yes, I think mine is every 2 years. So I have one more year. I think I'll have to recertify next year. But I'm also working on, being to be able to dispense alcohol, so whether it's a bartender or whatever, because, remember I told you about that holiday punch? So I need to be certified. So those two certifications, in order to do that, you also need to be certified, Safe Serve certified. And I'm already Safe Serve certified. So I just need to get the bartending part of it, together. So that allows me to do a lot of different things. It allows me to create more products and still be within the guidelines of what, the US requires when you're handling with alcohol.
I can say this a little bit because sometimes we come from the Caribbean and we realize that there are certain standards that we have to live here with.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we go home, or when people at home try to put in these same standards into place, they get all kind of fire back from the people on this sort. So that's why I try to bring that up so that people could understand there's always rules and regulations and standards that you have to follow when you are in the food industry, especially in this part of the world.
Absolutely.
They do not take it easy. You can end up in prison.
Of course.
And you can be fined lots of money.
Hefty sums. Yeah.
People who you sell these things to.
Absolutely.
So that's why I just want to bring that out so that people could understand that there's always rules and regulation and standards that you have to follow.
Yes. LadyMossBoss.com. Check me out. I'm also a teacher, so I've launched back in November. I launched my webinars to teach people how to start their own CMOS business, how to run their CMOS business. I have a few people, already on board. because like I said before, I can't be everywhere. So I'm working with the experts to simplify this. So I am working on an ebook. I'm also working on a class to put on Udemy. It's a place where, they have tons of classes, and, I'll sell that class there. And then, when people want more and they want the coaching and the counseling, then, they'll come to me, and, I'll be able to give that to them. But yeah, ladymossboss.com, if you are interested in starting your own CMOS business in this particular industry, I do offer that as well. That is a product that I sell. Teach people how to run their own business, and they never have to worry about having authentic CMOS, because they get their CMOS directly from me.
We're having a conversation with Lady Moss Boss, Ms. Yolande Horne-Payne, and she is the Lady Moss Boss, and we're talking CMOS here at the gel stage and at the drink stage. Lady Moss Boss, we just want, that was your time. We want to give you to promote your website, your IG page, or whatever social media you have, if you can just sell it to the people. But before, if there's anything that we haven't asked you that you think can be significant to promoting this moss, this CMOS, you can do that. Then you can get into your social media account and how people can find you.
Okay. Well, I think I've covered pretty much, everything. I would love to be back on your program if you would have me back. I hope I was a decent enough guest.
It would be a pleasure. At that time, I might have a little bit to sip as well. So
yes. And so, there's so many things going on that, like I said, this segment is just not enough. And because we're in that rebranding and phase, and just other things that are happening that I can't really say right now. But yes, you can find Lady Moss Boss on ladymossboss.com, as it is, ladymossboss.com. You can also find us at Yoli's Meal Prep LLC, yolismealprep.com. On Instagram, it is Lady Moss Boss _ at Lady Moss Boss _ on Facebook, it is, it's a mouthful on Facebook, so bear with me. It is Yoli's Meal Prep. Hang on, I'll tell you in a second. Because, we have to change that. And I know sometimes it's hard. People don't want, it's hard to have a long name, but it's Yoli's Meal Prep. Hold on. I had to change it several times. There we go. It is Yoli's 'S Meal Prep LLC by Lady Moss Boss. So that's Facebook, Yoli's Meal Prep LLC by Lady Moss Boss on Facebook, Instagram at Lady Moss Boss _ and my website is ladymossboss.com. You can also find me. I mean, I have both. I own both. So it's ladymossboss.com and it's also Yoli's Meal Prep. But, everyone calls me Lady Moss Boss now. No one calls me Yolande or Yoli anymore. It's Lady Moss Boss. So, that's a name that you remember. It's becoming a household name. When I first started, one of my goals is that I wanted this name to be a household name. And, I think I've succeeded doing so. It's really fast becoming a household name, not only in Atlanta, but in, throughout. I mean, I've got customers everywhere. I've got customers in South Dakota, San Francisco, Florida, Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama, of course, Georgia, New York, Virginia, New Jersey, Baltimore, Chicago. Where else? Did I say? I think I said Tennessee, Virginia. Yeah, I've got customers a lot of places. So it's becoming that household name, Lady Moss Boss.
Right. Before you go, I think you said you were trying to, you're getting into the, where people can subscribe on a monthly basis.
Yes.
Just briefly touch that, because we didn't really say what about that you're going to do. So just briefly.
Okay. So the subscription will be for the beverages and gels. If you use that on a regular basis, I have people who buy the beverages, dozen at a time, or the ones, they come in a bottle or they come in pouches, and they buy them a dozen at a time so that they can have them on a daily basis. They buy the gel every 3 weeks, every 5 weeks. So we can have that on a subscription basis. That's going to be set up on the website I want to say, it's going to be launched on February 15th. That's what my team is telling me. And we will start pre-ordering. So we'll start pre-orders. You can sign up for that January 31st. That's January 31st subscription. You can start signing up for that. There will be a huge announcement going out for that. All of my customers out there. And if you are not subscribed to ladymossboss.com, please take a moment and do so. Fill out that subscription so you can get my blogs, my letters, my sales, I communicate with my customers very regularly. So you need to get on ladymossboss.com, fill out that subscription. You'll be in the know. If you're here in Atlanta, you want to know where I'm at, starting February 5th, I'm back out. I took a 5-week hiatus. I am back at the game. February 5th, I'll be at Atlanta Harvest from 11 to 5. And stay tuned. Follow me on social media like you guys have been doing. Those of you who don't know, that's how people find out where I'm at. They follow me on social media because I post every week my schedule. I post from location sometimes. I go live from location a lot of times. So you'll know where I'm at. And when I do that, you'll be surprised to see, the people come, wives send their husbands send their wives. And, the stuff is just in everybody's household. So yes, I really, without this Moss Gang, I call my customers my Moss Gang. And without the Moss Gang, Lady Moss Boss will be nothing, so I truly appreciate each and every one of you, who have bought a thing, who have supported, who have given me an encouraging word. I truly, truly from the bottom of my heart appreciate you guys. Continue to give me your suggestions, continue to tell me what you're looking for. And, Lady Moss Boss will definitely do our best to try to get this out to you, whatever you ask. And again, ladymossboss.com is the website. IG is ladymossboss_. And Facebook is Yolee's, YOLEE_S, Meal Prep LLC by Lady Moss Boss.
Lady Moss Boss, you have truly been an inspiration to
thank
us,
you.
To St. Vincent and the Grenadines, to the people who are gravitating towards your product. And we're proud that you have to say you're flying the St. Vincent flag with this product per se,
Yes.
I just want to wish you, on behalf of CP and I just want to wish you, great success. And anytime, like CP is going to tell you, anybody who comes out to Vincy Internet Radio, they're automatically family. So you are automatically.
Thank you.
I think CP, we can try and create an ad. I'll get to Dolores. I will create an ad for her and run it periodically as well.
Well, thank you. I truly appreciate that, guys. We were talking since back in December. I think I was on Cleo's program, Cleo Huggins' program, and all my VinCan posse, up there in north of the border, Suzette Weeks, and just tons of people, who have who've been in my corner from the onset of this, and who've been very, very supportive, and just sharing information. And so I'm happy to be on here. I know we're reaching people in England and St. Vincent and all parts of the US, Africa, and all parts of Canada, Africa. So I again, join the Moss Gang. The Moss Gang Nation is growing. Join the Moss Gang. Don't forget ladymossboss.com and follow me on all social media platforms.
One quick thing for you here from your cousin, Cornelius Moses. Do you remember her?
That's my first cousin.
Yes. She said to shout you out. I also want to say my sister Maria Bork is listening, Alston Richards, and Lavon Emmanuel. So what I want you to do for me, we're going to do some jingles for you, but send me the prices of some of your product.
Okay.
Along with the picture, because we're definitely going to do the video type like what we did there for you. But we're gonna help out in some jingles, and as I said, we have someone that willing to do some jingles for us. So don't be shy, just anytime you need to come back, even though it's something that you want to come back and just enlighten the people about. Don't be shy. Get in touch with me, and then I'll send Molten information for you. So just in case you can't reach me, because sometimes it's difficult to get me because I might be on the road, you can always reach Molten, and whichever one you reach is, you're okay. You're in safe hands.
All right. I see that already. This has been an amazing interview. It flowed really well. We had great conversation. I hope I did it justice. I hope I was able to share as much information. Like I said, my goal is to really educate the people, and maybe maybe I missed my calling to be a teacher, but here on this platform I get to teach, and so I'm loving every moment of it. So thank you guys. I really truly appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. Much success on your internet radio and TV areas that you guys have. And again, thank you for all the support that you're offering to Lady Moss Boss. We truly appreciate it.